Yeah, let's just get myself into position here. Hello everybody. Very warm welcome. I just wanted to offer up some reflections, a couple of thoughts after our weekend together. A couple of statistics for you. We had 68 presentations over the course of the UKHC 2025 that's just passed. Attendees from over 20 different countries, and I averaged around 18,000 steps per day. Every single one of those steps inside the hotel, the bubble of the convention. What can I say? Our speakers this year were what I would consider to be a very high standard and exceptionally credible. But we also had a lot of variety. One minute I was being kept abreast of latest research findings. The next, I was being guided through an orgasmic hypnosis session. 1 minute I was shown researched, informed, practical demonstrations. The next, I was encouraged to stand up and sing while abundance and love flowed through me. And many were illuminating for me. Some were so entertaining they were worthy of a comedy club. Um, in one of them, I got to dress up as a policeman and arrest Ian Q as well. So, another item ticked off my bucket list this weekend. We take on the feedback. Please keep it coming. We will adapt accordingly and do our best to really react and respond to that feedback as we do every year. There will be another video about speaker applications for 2026 before we shut down for a short while. So some real highlights for me. Peter Nash's presentation and research about altered states that was delivered so gently and in a user-friendly fashion was a real joy for me. I got to have lunch with Peter on Saturday along with Michael and Diane Yapko, which was a really stimulating experience. I got to ask Michael Yapko about some of the critique of his beloved Ericksonian model of hypnotherapy, and about whether the same mechanisms were at play with more traditional approaches and explanations of how hypnosis actually works. We also got to have some discussion about some of the false memories and the cases that Michael was at the forefront of, in the early 1990s. I say this, I say this at all because, meeting up and having in-depth discussions, opening our minds and connecting and asking some tough questions, is also what you get from a convention such as ours. If presentations here, helped raise some questions, you can go and discuss and explore and bounce ideas, in a rich, supportive place with other curious, like-minded individuals. Michael Yapko's keynote was a major highlight for me as well. He championed process-oriented approaches to clinical hypnotherapy, while also highlighting some of the challenges that arise with so many seeming sort of factions and approaches to the field. He showed some video footage, gave real life examples and illustrated, and again, all delivered very warmly and in a way that landed really beautifully as far as I could tell. At the gala dinner, I thought I'd send myself up a little bit by wrapping my messages this year and being the French Fresh Prince with no hair. It was really good fun, and I hope my message was well received in this format. Two of our most popular speakers and attendees from previous years, who both really embody so much of what this convention is about and the spirit of it. I wanted to capitalize upon that this year. Jason Simmons, his Saturday night show, it absolutely brought the house down. And watching him manage the stage while delivering the belly laughs and being so ethical and gentle with those on stage as well was really beautiful. The one-man party that is Graham Webber, who for years now has put smiles on faces in the bar with his guitar and after hours. We invited him and asked him to come and bring that spirit to the official end of gala dinner entertainment, and he got up on stage and sang his heart out, and got all of us singing with him, and filled us with some joy, got us reflecting upon those that we'd lost in the field in the past year. He then also equipped plenty of us with glow sticks to use later on the dance floor. My heartfelt thanks to those two. DJ Francis took over then on Saturday, and we had the extended disco until 1 a.m. And we raved and we danced and we let our hair down, and everyone metaphorically and figuratively linked arms, put their arms around each other, and we had some fun. And it gives you a sense of how bohemian our event is. The Secret Underground Party included a Hamlet rendition by Toby that we all cheered and delighted in. On Sunday, Paul McKenna's interview was fascinating on a number of levels for me. One notion I really liked and appreciated was him stating that he felt curiosity and tenacity were the two most important facets required from a hypnotherapist, working clinically. And he both demonstrated and illustrated how a sort of relentless, positive tenacity had helped him achieve some incredible results. He spoke of, a couple of amazing cases from his TV shows. He drew upon 40 years of experience where, he's been remarkably prolific. From a personal point of view, I had to sort of keep sort of reality checking myself. Here I was on stage at our event, chatting away to the man who'd done more than anyone else in history to bring hypnosis into the public imagination. And despite having to catch a flight that evening, he was very generous with his time, staying on for photos with attendees and so on. What can I say about this year's closing keynote? Scott Sandland surpassed my hopes and my expectations, and delivered something incredibly special that I felt should be mandatory viewing for anyone working in the hypnotherapy field. When I asked him, when I invited him to be our keynote speaker, we discussed some of the themes, and he shared his initial sort of stream of consciousness with me about what he felt was important, and what he wanted to do with this. He then went and sat next to me. He sat next to me at dinner on Saturday night, and he at one point he leaned in with a deadpan look on his face, and he said, "So, Adam, it's okay with you that I'm just gonna wing it with the closing keynote, right?" Straight face, and what a rascal. Lucky for me, a devilish smile cracked across his face. It was meticulously prepared, and there's so much I'd like to share, but those who stayed on to the end received an absolute treat. And remember, even death doesn't have a 100% success rate. The biggest highlight of the entire weekend for me, though, was those who attended. You know what? Our field is in good hands. People present seem to get our position, the sort of tone that we want there, and that we've sought to foster and garner. The attitude of those that were there, and that embrace what the event's about. Our attendees this weekend have been open, have been honest, have been candid, but also supportive, loving, respectful. I spoke to a lot more people this year and heard some incredible voices. I met some beautiful personalities, and seen how the lifeblood of the convention and what makes it special is that those in attendance, um, are just, unbelievably awesome, and have an appetite for our field to be a fertile, fervent, welcoming place that we want more of the world to know about and appreciate. Um, and that is so achievable when we balance research informed practice with innovation and creativity, where we do not let the loud voices or charismatic leaders shout over the consensus, and where we respect and trust each other. The best seems to come out. And those of you that attended, I can't thank you enough for doing that, and for being that way. And for me, this was the biggest highlight of the event. The dates for 2026, the 13th to 15th of November. We'll get the speaker applications open soon. We're going to set up the early bird discount for tickets purchased before we announce the speaker schedule. We've got some some really, what I would consider some impressive announcements to make about next year. Plans are afoot already. However, Steve, Sarah, and I are going to have a break once we've done that, and look to recuperate and re-energize before we do it all again. My heartfelt thanks to you all. I send you all my love. Goodbye for now.